Nico bot lane. They're expecting a kind of a dive or melee support. Nico is just kind of one of those champions that has the correct kind of kit to punish both range champs and melee champs quite well. So it seems like RNG very happy to allow Niket the freedom to just blind pick that and hide potentially some other picks that they want to wait later on in the draft to select. It also means Ultra Prime have to lock in a jungler, most likely on the 2-3. And we'll see if Xiaoxu just ends up answering with a traditional support. Or, ooh, okay. I like the Scion Hover. Wouldn't mind it getting locked in.
Hey,
Tank busters are still there, but unlikely. We'll see.
I feel like some of the picks that go well into Scion, though, kind of not available right now. The Rumble's banned away. The Gwen, Jack's not available because of Fearless, so can lock that in. There still are obviously counters, but
prevents the Jace as well. Jace is a miserable matchup into Scion early on, and eventually Scion does just get to a point where in the mid game you don't die and you die to Scion. is the end result. Nautilus, not too surprised. Point and click lockdown for the Ezreal. Always going to feel very, very reliable. Now, will we get a pick out of Xiaoxu, or will we get Milkyway's jungle pick into 2 bans? That'll be the 2 most likely options here for RNG. What does Xiaoxu have in the tank? Ambessa.
I was gonna say, makes a lot of sense. It's it's like the next up on that like kind of OP tier list without the Jace being available technically because of the Scion pick. Like when the Rumble aren't available and the Fury's banned away. Ambessa's another really strong pick. Yeah,
I can't recall if Ambessa has any percent HP in her kit. She's definitely got armor pen and a bunch of dashes.
The dashes are the big part, against
Scion. Everyone knows about that. But of course the Eclipse Rush should help kind of get through some of the massive HP stacking that Scion will deal with, as well as probably something like a Black Cleaver later on. RNG banning away the Skarner, so should expect a lot of jungle pinch here. Things like the Maokai. Ooh, a Yorick call out of all things. Interesting. That has been popping up a little bit more in pro play, mostly in the top lane though. I'm sure there's probably been some Yorick jungle in ERLs or over in collegiate or LDL, Korea challenges maybe. I can't see Koreans playing the Yorick, but I feel like LDL would be crazy enough to. Yeah, Bwippo's been loving it. He's played it. Flandre as well. I think, was it Arla? I want to say also picked this one up very, very recently. So rising in priority. Zyra also banned away, which I don't mind. So just a big jungle squeeze as again, with the Ambessa on the table, the Yorick kind of sits there as a jungle ban. So one last Talia to Tangyuan, trying to strip away some of the map presence he can have. I do still suspect that this ends up being jungle on R4, though could very well be surprised. Milky Way does have a plethora of champions in his repertoire.
Hey, that's something we like, potentially.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is, to me at least, that whilst RNG do have potentially very strong levels of engage, it is very reliant on things like the flash from Niket or a very good, fog of war angle. Ambessa, the engage is always, 50-50 is just not always super reliable. You need another form of CC. I guess the Nico can certainly help with that. But my big thing is you need first kill. You're playing against Varus, who can self-peel, Scion, Nautilus, and if this Lee Sin gets locked in, Lee Sin Rise. First kill is going to be really hard to get, man. It's going to be super difficult in a lot of these skirmishes. If they can get them, great, but in the grander team fights, RNG just feels super outgunned here.
The final pickup's going to be... I mean, it's good, but also it just seems like a lot of random stuff put together here for RNG. They all do good things in their own right, but in terms of what they can accomplish together as a 5-man unit, it doesn't seem like the most synergistic per se. There's no first of all, as you said, no super hard, snap engage button, other than burning a flash from Niket or something, and so kind of just waiting for Ultra Prime to engage into them, and then after that, I feel like that's where Ultra Prime likes to play their composition out.
And if RNG's game 1 is anything to go by, they're not in any coordinated frame of mind right now to be pulling off a draft like this. Whereas on the opposite side, Ultra Prime just following the very useful motto that I feel like a lot of people could use these days, is to keep it simple, stupid strat. Of we've got point and click engage, front to back, double front line, and a little bit of side lane presence if you want to really count Rise as one of those answers. The only thing really is the Lee Sin. But even that, you know, as a skirmishing option into Viego, perfectly acceptable when the rest of the comp looks like what it does around you. And being able to pick on the mid lane when you've got the Rune Prison set up, super easy for Junhao here to team up with Saber and try and pick on Junhao, on Tangyuan, who's on an Orianna who is very vulnerable to early game plays.
I feel like we haven't seen too much Lee Sin, at least recently, so this is going to be a treat. Junhao saw him and his mechanical prowess in game number 1 did not result in a victory for Ultra Prime. Gonna hope that this time is different for his team if they want to force a game 3 again in the Nirvana group. So every game really matters in terms of the impact that it has, and potentially getting yourself a spot into the playoffs, or even getting yourself a spot into Split 3 as a whole. On to the rift for game number 2 of Ultra Prime versus RNG.
Shout out those 5 people.
Yeah, I was gonna say 3, 4, 5 people.
Oh no. Oh, okay. Cheeky little check. Command attack.
We're good.
You always get worried at level 1. Stuff like that. Well, I'm not expecting anything too crazy in this early game, and I mean, if the pace set in game number 1 is anything to go by, I don't think you guys at home should be either, unless we get a crazy invade.
Now we're doing the opposite of what we did before game number 1. We were like, before game 1, we were like, these guys are gonna get 50 kills in 10 minutes. It's gonna be great. So I mean, maybe we do reverse curse ourselves a bit.
There's a lot more reliable engage on Ultra Prime side this time. Of course, with the Nautilus. So more likely to have fights just kind of kick off. Once level 6 is also unlocked by Niket too. We'll suspect he will look for the best opportunity for those big pop blossoms. I like that from Xiaoxu. I know he missed, but it's about the mentality and the sending of the
throw it out, why not? Yeah. Our jungler's also starting on the top side, so that bot lane going to be more of the focus here. I guess when you have a Scion that you're playing against, like both sides are fine with just leaving that be. There's another hook that comes out from Xiaoxu. Yeah. We're popping that baby off a cooldown. It's all good.
Don't worry. Doesn't matter if he's missing. Just give him time. One of them will hit eventually. Right? That's how that works.
100%
the law of
averages.
averages.
You don't take. Yeah. To hit. But now he'll have the E to throw it off a cooldown too, if he wants to. Yeah, Junhao on the Sin. It seems like maybe milkyway has learned from his mistakes of game number 1, where he went for an early invade. As I say that, he might be skipping over this blue buff. We'll see exactly what his clear ends up looking like. But in general, it seems like the jungler's more inclined to full clear. It could mean, though, they could find themselves around this bot side scuttle contesting it. And Xiaoxu wants to be in the area to make sure that his bot lane is able to get some pry up, because right now it is RNGs that hold control.
Yeah, they do. Your question. Thankfully, he's not skipping blue. It's just what you'll normally do is you start red, you clear all of the little camps first, right? So that the next rotation spawn in. Just a little bit more in sync than having to wait for your final camp. If you do blue, then that final camp, or red, then that final camp. As both junglers are on the spot side of the map. Junhao.
Oh yeah, Dredge line goes not far enough, as it's just the heal burn from the Cat. And with that pressure, means that milkyway can pick up this Scuttle Crab for himself, likely cross back over into the top side to pick up a double.
He had no interest in the spot side skirmish at all. He was on that the entire way. And will likely pull out before we get the Stun Skull. So a good start for milkyway. Can also reset off the back of this. Maybe drop a ward if he has one, but he doesn't. So we'll just happily take the reset. Probably get... Well, actually, depends on the first line it's going to go. So I was going to say pickaxe. He'll have the gold for it. But double longsword and a dagger. So he's up just a little bit of extra combat stats on Junhao. Just go back to the full clear. Why not? Always happy to on Viego. Hit that level 6 ASAP. That's when your skirmishing power really gets very frightening. Access to being able to drop the form that you pick up if you get that first kill. With the Heartbreaker earlier on, as the lane swap is coming out. Or as I was watching LTA last night, and our dearly beloved Emily Rand, LPL expert in her spare time as well, actually dubbed this the late swap, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
Not sure about how everyone else feels, but
I like that.
Might need to try and let this one catch on a little bit. Just
it's very accurate towards what it is. Yeah. Making sure you're not getting any debuffs in.
It is still 100% a lane swap, but the fact that, of course, you know, what's the meme again? It's like the riot emote, lane swap detected. Please leave the area, right?
Yeah.
that's how it goes.
You avoid that by doing the lane swap instead of the lane swap.
Exactly. We'll see if this is going to mean anything, though, because both of our junglers are on the bot side of the map.
Yeah.
Following their full clears, so my best guess is they're both going to beeline it back to Grubs, so that they're on that side of the map where their bot laners are.
Yeah. Camps are more important right now.
Wait, what's going on, Dragon? He's starting that one up. Oh.
We finally got one. It's on Niket, down to 200 HP. Should be able to live here. As, yeah, milkyway actually going to start up the Dragon instead. Just knowing that the Ambessa has priority, as right now Tangyuan also has the wave in a good spot.
Knows about this. The ward.
Could actually just jump right over using that safeguard.
He's going to do exactly that.
Okay, he's at 1,000. Jumping over, he steals it away. milkyway wasn't prepared, and now he's going to pay for it potentially with his life. Shockwave going to try to buy some time, but Junhao flashes forward. That's first blood and first strike for UP.
Wow. Just very unfortunate for milkyway that there was a ward in the Dragon Pit that still had vision of the Dragon as well to make things worse. So he's going to die, Wako. Flash will dead.
I was taking a sip of water. I wasn't ready for that, man.
Don't worry, I had you, bro. I had you. Had you covered. I'm sure we'll get a replay of how that one happened as yet again JiaQi and Wako going at it 1 versus 1 in isolation.
Yeah, he gets his revenge this time after
it
went better for Wako last time.
We're 1 for 1.
We need a matchup number. We need a round 3 next game if we get one. Or next series to play maybe 2-0. Let's get another look at this bot lane play, or play between the bot laners.
Well, I mean, Waco's already chunked out, so this is just disrespect from the potential damage that can come out of an Ezreal. Another Essence Flux and a Q connects, and then the flash is just really late. It's once you take that Essence Flux Q/auto, you just have to flash, bro.
Yep.
Don't even give JiaQi the opportunity to find that flash auto attack, but does it anyway. Waits and yeah, it's a solo kill going over to that Ezreal. You take that in his back pocket.
Fascinating start to this early game once again. It's just 1 kill for Junhao for Ultra Prime in a solo fashion. 1 kill for JiaQi right now. Also in that solo fashion. And so actually what we saw there is RNG were able to pick up 2 of those 3 grubs off of the play because of JiaQi's solo kill up there, which does mean that they are slightly in the lead this time around. And I think we agree, Jamada, that once we get to the later stages of this game, Ultra Prime, they have some really nice scaling, really nice side laning, have a much easier engage tool as well. So for RNG to get ahead, this is a pretty important start for them.
Yeah, in almost all aspects, Ultra Prime should have a significantly easier time piloting their composition. Like, the onus is very much on RNG to kind of just win as much as they can in the early stages. But with Orianna Ezreal, certainly going to be difficult to push that envelope. And Niket is going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting in terms of finding multi-man ultimates once these 2 teams start to really square off at some of these objectives kind of just before the mid-game, but especially in the mid-game, right? These grubs onwards, gonna be a very, very big deal for that.
Spawn in a couple minutes time actually synced up with the dragon rather nicely, so it does create equal pressure on opposite sides of the map. And we're not gonna get much fighting until then, I believe. Xiaoxu, he might have kind of learned his lesson, not throwing out too many of those hooks anymore. Still around the top side just a little bit, but we slowed things down here in game number 2. Again, a matchup that these two teams have played each other a very good amount already here in Split 2, just because they were in the same placement group, had to play tiebreaker against each other. And for Ultra Prime, like, the pressure's on them a little bit because they had the advantage. They took 2 out of 3. They got themselves the opportunity to play in that last chance qualifier. They, so far, have not lived up to it here in the Nirvana group stage.
Yeah, definitely not yet. But there's still time. There's certainly still time.
I think we realized that's going to be the real Nico. As Chain of Corruption comes in, and there's the Nautilus point and click engage as well. I'll try and get it.
That one's a head scratch up. No analysis needed. Niket ended. First, the clone died. I wonder which one's the real one. Press the rest of their buttons on him. He's got Swifty Boots, so he can run back to the mid lane to do the same thing again. Maybe a little bit faster as well. Nice little pick. Junhao is the recipient of that kill too, and so he's already got the Eclipse. That's a really big deal. Big spike for this Lee Sin. Does of course make him a little bit squishier than the Divine Sunderer would, but upfront burst is going to be significantly higher than purchasing that item on first buy. As I mean, you can kind of tell, like, hunting around, he's looking for milkyway because he knows he is going to absolutely obliterate him. Ooh, very close to finding Xiaoxu, who himself picks up the Eclipse as well. You know what I learned, actually, about the Eclipse? And I feel like I consistently learn about many items in the game. At the risk of seeming stupid, the item, you see the red, like, thing behind what is a dagger?
Yeah.
See, for the longest time, I thought that was, you know how it gives you a shield? I thought that was a shield.
Is it not?
A shield. No, it's not. It's an Eclipse.
Like,
it's
just like a background?
Yeah.
You could just say it's a shield. I feel like it's... It gets the point across. Yeah, it gets kind of the point across. To me, I just look at that and see, like, oh, it's like a red round thingy with like a... I don't know. Sometimes I look at these items and I can't even tell what exactly, like, if they're actually like, it's actually secretly a sword or something. But
it's a blood moon, or like a red planet object, which is obviously supposed to be giving Eclipse. Anyway, hey, Ultra Prime.
They're not fighting, so we can talk about the items.
Yeah.
As Xiaoxu does have his Eclipse, so in terms of the potential side laning threat that he's going to be having, that gets a little bit stronger now. As Kai's making good use of our new lower thirds. So
lower thirds. Yeah. Thank you, production. Yeah. Anywho's. Quiet game. Like game number 1, though I think that's kind of a little bit more to be expected after basically the difference in drafts comparatively. Despite the reliable engage that is available to Ultra Prime, they are just a little bit happier trying to play out the map as opposed to outright skirmishing so far. And RNG have kind of just been in cruise control for the time being, if that has to be said, which does make sense when you've got double tier in mid and AD slot.
Do you feel like any of this slow play compared to what we saw from these two teams earlier in the season? Do you feel like any of it is just because there are maybe some higher stakes being in next to Nirvana? You're in a single round robin where your season could end a little bit quicker. You want to make sure you don't make the wrong play.
I'd love to buy into this narrative, Grapes, but I think they're just being slow because they don't want to fight.
Just being slow to be slow. Okay, got it.
Slow to be slow.
Hey, we got players on opposite sides of the map right now. Saber in a lot of trouble as Niket's able to pick up that kill. The tower's really heated up though. One more shot would have taken Milky Way down. Meanwhile, we saw a play attempted onto Xiaoxu. He had to burn his flash to escape Junhao's wrath. So it'll be the blue buff taken on the bottom side as a response. So right now, RNG get right back on the board. They're going to try to hit up on this top tier one.
Yeah, and they will get it 5 grubs. Very, very powerful. That TP, I mean, fair play. Problem is they're so low that they don't want to risk randomly setting up for Jiang to, I don't know, someone just randomly show up. Not sure what they were thinking. Let's see how this play started. Shockwave with the Saber. Tangyuan ends up tanking these first couple of tower shots. It's really good. The rest of the burst damage in CC is very consistent. Good job on the dive. There's now a Death Brush being set up by Junhao. He's very, very scary on this Lee Sin right now. RNG do need to be very wary and careful. I like that.
It would have been so cool if he hit it though, if somebody was there.
Oh,
actually setting up Saber for a collective collapse. He has to flash away. Let's say as well, once again, looking at the mid lane CS department, Tangyuan getting the better end of things in the mid lane again over Saber, who was the player we were hyping up a little bit for UP going into the series.
Yeah, I mean, look, Saber's brought out some very fun champs throughout this split 2 so far. The Zed, the Yasuo, being 2 that will probably be on the edge of everyone's mind. Okay.
Not too much of that yet. Wow. Niket popping that pop blossom early as now your King Kamba collapsed. Jong with the unstoppable onslaught will pick up that 3rd kill here for Ultra Prime. Milky Way has to dash away. Junhao with the kick back off the ward hop. It will be matched up here by the public execution. Junhao combined with the shockwave of Tangyuan, who has arrived in the fight, and somehow Milky Way is still alive. Nobody can kill the Viego as now it's just 2 tanks trying to wail away at RNG, and they will force away Ultra Prime.
They do their food a little bit too hard there, Ultra Prime. The kick was good, but there was no actual finish off damage, right? There was no last auto attack there. Turnaround comes in as Tangyuan teleports, provides the shield and the shockwave. That's all the peel that they need to get their jungler out of that situation. The opposite end, Ultra Prime. Saber should pick up this tower. So Xiaoxu might have something to say about it. Yeah, should die to the grubs, get that little bit of local gold in. That feels good at the very least to try and make something of what should have been a very positive play. Like, Niket kind of whiffed on that eco on the big time. Oh, hello, that's the real one.
Yeah, hitting Niket again. Xiaoxu with a really nicely timed dredge line, and Junhao is able to pick up that kill right as that dragon is up and available. Looks like instead mid lane is going to be a prio as well. So Ultra Prime getting a couple of big picks, and it's allowing them to get 2 towers here as well, just 17 minutes into this game.
Yeah, seems like Xiaoxu should answer out up here on the top side, so at least something for RNG, but pick onto Niket again. Niket not having the best time of it this time so far. Yeah, a replay of top side skirmish as eats that first Q, tiny warthog to get out of Pop Blossom. Ultimate there from Jiang. Very short range, but then it's all about this kick, right? Watch this warthog kick. Angle's not great, so he kind of kicks him away from Jiang. Jiang then also tries to continue his way onto Xiaoxu, thinking that Milky Way will die, and then the shockwave prevents any follow-up damage from coming onto Milky Way. So a bit all over the place there, unfortunately, thinking, again, play is kind of done because Milky Way should die, but he doesn't.
Yeah, you can't die if everybody walks away and tries to go for the next play before they finish off the other one. So I think it would have been better for Jiang to just take Milky Way and then run out of there. Of course, they weren't anticipating the Tangyuan TP, obviously, because I guess without a vision, and it allowed for the RNG to turn around that fight a little bit. So they are now still, I think, in a solid spot, but it could have been way better if they were able to get that kill onto Milky Way. Instead, it's just a 1,000 gold lead. However, 3 dragons also picked up, as Ultra Prime have done a really good job at prioritizing those Drakes throughout the series, even in game number 1.
Run away from Soul super early on. RNG, I feel like, have farmed well enough that Tangyuan and JiaQi should actually be on their spikes. Would be the scariest thing by then. And actually Xiaoxu as well, 2 items. I mean, the Eclipse is kind of a cheap rush, but getting the tower on that top side I think has really accelerated. Also with the magical boots, no need to purchase 300 gold or the follow-up to get things like tabbies or mercs just yet. So now, whatever gold he picks up can go towards that, and he can be on this 2-item spike earlier, which is arguably the slightly more important thing for this Ambessa to get through Jiang's health bar on that side lane. Ultra Prime took pretty firm control here of this top side of the map. The Atakan is up here. It is ruinous, in case you were wondering.
Again, not particularly surprised.
Slightly,
maybe a little more.
Slightly bloody. I mean, they've changed the spawn logic on the Atakan, so I can't recall exactly what they did. I'm just gonna be honest.
There's also like damage dealt overall. Like,
yes,
comes into
they
play
also
too, so
they
even if you
also
don't
weighed
kill,
exactly. They weighed in damage dealt a bit more. Things of that things of that nature. Lose a little bit of health because of that chunk out from JiaQi onto the Atakan. But yeah, they've factored in things that aren't just kills. And we certainly did have an action-packed early game, even if there weren't the highest amount of kills going back and forth. And I spoke about that double jeopardy in game number 1 of, you know, losing a fight around that dragon, then also the Atakan. It being on the top side and it being that ruinous. You lose a fight, you lose the Atakan and all the XP and then the Baron on top of it. That feels like triple jeopardy at that point.
Yeah,
so far behind.
A little graph towards the bottom. It says that they think Ultra Prime is a good position to win this game, and I wouldn't doubt them right now. They have soul point.
I don't doubt that graph.
Yeah, about 1,000 gold, and they have the composition that we agree scales just a little bit better. It is the Poke Ferris. I think that does well into the squishy composition of RNG. It looks like Ultra Prime are going to start up this Atakan, and not really much space for RNG to try and test it. I hope this one is just down.
Yeah, just letting this one go. Oh,
and that's really, he's going to get matched here by the Choo-Choo Train. Zhang runs down. Okay, Tangyuan not able to pick up that steal. Realm Warp did come out but not utilized. Can Ultra Prime get all of these roses? Looks like no. And so RNG now could go for a potential collapse. Niket and Milky Way are here. Pop Blossom will connect only onto Saber. They're going to try to burst this rise down, and Xiaoxu will not be able to. Niket's the first to go down. Decimating Smash only lands onto 1. Junhao dashes forward, but then safeguards right back as Dredge Line will go wide. Looks like now battle lines have been drawn. Milky Way trying to pick up a couple more of those rose petals. JiaQi gets hit up here by the Roar of the Slayer. Now it's to shift over to try and escape. Teleport comes in. It's going to be Saber rejoining the fight. Another nice dash from JiaQi, who's gliding all over him right now as RNG will escape without giving up any of their lives.
The way the collapse happened, you thought more deaths would have come out of that one. Like, RNG are very, very lucky to have made it out of that. So is Saber, by the way. Saber managed to make it out too. And now the dragon spawning in 22 seconds, so no time for any messing about. We've got to run down here very, very quick. RNG, you give this dragon up. This is Soul. Atakan will also make that buff a little bit more powerful as well. And we were talking about that graph earlier. I think it was 61% for Ultra Prime. They get that.
A little bit better for sure. And now looks like it's going to be Zhang starting up the engage. Niket is down before he can even do anything in this fight. Already a 1-0 as now Ultra Prime can start up this Infernal Dragon. Again, would be sold for them. That is a huge advantage against the squishy team composition of RNG. To try to fight this 45 because they have to. Here comes Xiaoxu, Hex flashing over, landing the Dredge Line onto Tangyuan. Decimating Smash comes through. That should be the fight and potentially more. Xiaoxu going forward. He's trying to soak up some damage, but it's not nearly enough. And they kick Milky Way right back in. It's Junhao making the play, and only JiaQi's alive as to run back to his base.
Goodness me, RNG. That should be pretty much the final nail in the coffin, and we should be going to game 3. Gold difference might be 3,000, but I feel like at this point the ease of execution for Ultra Prime, the Infernal Soul with the Atakan on top of it, This should just push Ultra Prime into a position where it's very difficult to lose this game.
And that gold lead just got a little bit bigger too with that inner tower getting taken down by Saber, who's now level 16 on this rise, by the way. Taking a look at how this one started up. Niket is playing way too aggressive with these Nico clones. And just gets caught out by Junhao.
Yeah, not much else to say. I mean, it was worth 109 gold. And he died. So yeah, so great dredge line on Tangyuan. As at that point, 3 versus 5. Xiaoxu does his best, but then meets the original anti-mobility champion in Rise. And now it's just the Baron. Ultra Prime can just focus on that with the Soul. Play out the map however they need. Look for items if they've got some upcoming breakpoints on the way. Which you'd imagine Wako is at 2 items. With a 500 gold lead over a Triforce Mirror Mana user, so he should have almost a full 3rd item. And that he does. So
wow. Holy. Just straight from nothing. One longsword into that full 3rd item. That is a big power spike here for Ultra Prime. Obviously, RNG need to just find that 1 kill to get a reset for Milky Way and set up a fight for the team, but nobody's really in a good position to do so. Tangyuan has to use that shockwave defensively. They're going to try to collapse onto Junhao. 3 members onto him, but already Niket is falling on the backside. Finally, it will be the jungler for Ultra Prime down, and the first reset here for Milky Way. But he gets hit up by the Chain of Corruption before he can do a damn thing in this team fight, and so already Ultra Prime still taking control. JiaQi picks up 1. He flashes away to try to escape from the rest of UP. Saber not tanky enough to try and continue the play, and so it'll be a 3-for-2 overall in favor of Ultra Prime.
Yeah, Ultra Prime still winning out, but not the fight you want to see with this kind of game state. RNG doing their best. They pick off Junhao in the back line, who's a little bit separated off to the side from the rest of Ultra Prime. How does that happen? Does he just go back in, finds the Q off Tangyuan? The collapse from RNG is really good. The shockwave feel is fantastic. On the top side, that's free 2. Pop Blossom is only on the frontliners and great amount of CC. Then the Chain of Corruption spreads. It's very difficult for people to move away from the initial target, so Milky Way dies to the double kill. At this point, you're thinking they come back beyond for a quadra. Gets separated away from the team because of the Rise ultimate. A little bit unlucky there, but still, nonetheless, breaks up RNG's position on the map a little bit. So you want to see a slightly more one-sided affair for Ultra Prime. Face check.
This would be not bad, yeah. Science face checking, you can't burst them down very easily. And right now for RNG, I think a lot of their hope rests on JiaQi. He's one of the few players that is like at a really strong power spike here for RNG, has those 3 full items, but most of the team are going to try to collapse here. The Baron's been started up by Ultra Prime. They already forced a flash. And I think that's going to be all that they care about at this point, as Baron's been reset.
As you see though, they are very interested in starting it up. Off they go again. I mean, Sion can just control so much space with how big his health bar is.
They healed up again. Dredgeline just going a little bit wide. Double onslaught does not connect, but the Chain of Corruption will. A huge ultimate from Niket, but there's no follow-up here for RNG. Kick goes and sends the big carry JiaQi right into the heart of Ultra Prime, and it's 3-0 in favor of them as they go right back to the Baron. Zhang soaking up a ton of damage, will not go down easily as Xiaoxu will hex flash over the wall as well. They try to play this out 2v5. That is not good odds, but maybe Milky Way likes them. He picks up 1. Public execution over, but Milky Way will get shut down. Xiaoxu picks up 1 on a Wako, but it will be the ace secured for Ultra Prime.
It's a 5-for-2 for Ultra Prime. They're going to go on to secure this Baron as well. Excellently played team fight despite very heroic efforts from Niket and from Tangyuan. They're just a little bit too separated. And as you'll see, RNG a little bit too spread out because the Ambess is also not here, just clearing out that top wave. Not Ambess's fault, I mean, needs to be up there, Xiaoxu. 5-man Pop Blossom is great, but Shockwave has already been utilized, so there's no follow-up damage. A great ward hop kick. Insect. Enemy AD carry here. JiaQi's been having a really great game in terms of damage, but unfortunately, his position there, and Xiaoxu and Milky Way try their best in a 2 versus 5 situation. Get the first form, and then the Rune Prison little bit too much burst damage immediately. Can't find that onto Wako. If you can get that stepple form, then maybe you find enough damage for a third target. It's very, very, very hopeful thinking. I've seen Sion. I've seen Viegos do weird up throughout the years. No one's going to be down here. It's all about this mid lane tower, guys. Tier 2's gone.
Still Baron
being very, very patient.
Yeah, Baron, but still on 3 members, and Zhang just going straight in to try to force another fight. Pop Blossom comes out, but Niket is just way too weak at this point. He's died for the 8th time this game. milkyway dashes forward, trying to find something, and finally they will shut down Zhang with the shockwave. Here comes Xiaoxu over the wall in a 1v3, looking to try to find the outplay, but Saber will lock him down and find an overload onto JiaQi as well. Ezreal's forced to flash away. The Realm Warp going into the base of RNG. That's how aggressive Saber's being right now. He's 3 levels up over his mid lane opponent. And JiaQi and Tangyuan are forced back to their fountain.
Gonna have to go and reset very quickly. Elder Dragon's up. Goodness me. Forgot about that. 30 minutes in, it was a 4 dragon stack against 0. So have to go back to base. Gear up for that very quickly. Honestly, we might need a picture. RNG might be in a better position to get to the river first and start this up, by the way. Great, well, Jung existing. Depth charge as well. Into the flash forward from Jung to try and take down milkyway very quickly. The shockwave is fantastic, but only on the front line. This is when Xiaoxu gets involved here that things get a little bit concerning. But even then, shut down very quickly by the Ultra Prime mid laner. I was correct in my assessment-ish, but not the full lineup is here.
They're still so far behind though.
Yeah, that's the big problem.
Especially with the XP bars as well. Gage started into Zhang. Gonna have to be right now. JiaQi and Xiaoxu now has also become very powerful. Tangyuan teleports in. As it looks like RNG want to control the bottom side of the Dragon Pit. Ultra Prime will respond by pushing mid. They have a tier 3 turret that they can try to take down if RNG are not quick on this play. So they're going to start up the Elder Dragon. Xiaoxu instead opting to cancel his reset and go for a potential 50-50. This is a good play. If you are RNG, you're already down so far behind. Zhang will dash forward. There comes the depth charge in onto Tangyuan. He's going to be in a lot of danger right now, but still is alive. Shockwave doesn't find anything. Pop Blossom comes through. Will it be enough? They're dashing forward, but Ultra Prime are controlling this team fight. Only JiaQi lives, and it's not going to live for much longer. Wako will finish the job, and we are headed to a game number 3.
We had pretty strong suspicions just leaving the draft, but it's played out almost picture perfect for Ultra Prime. And what a kick from Junhao to round that was in a very successful Lee Sin performance. 11-3-13. And he is having a fantastic day, as a matter of fact. They'll cap off game number 2 here. 4 members strong. Take us to game number 3.
That KDA. 11-3-13 here for Junhao. As you said, fantastic day for him so far. But it'll be all for naught if Ultra Prime don't pull off the series win. They're going to have to do one more on top of that. They do take care of business against RNG, and this was more of what we wanted here from Ultra Prime, especially in terms of how they played out the end of that game.
Yeah, especially so. Man, RNG, I think they need to take a page out of Ultra Prime's book. Keep it simple, stupid. Is really the mantra that needs to be pinned up. You know, like a, what's the word? Like a notepad, sticky note, just right in the center, like top, maybe not center, like top left, right?
Yeah, corner,
what's in the top left of the screen?
Yeah.
Nothing's really going on in the top left of the screen, League of Legends. Usually, maybe if you left click someone, right, you get a little, who cares about that? Just chuck it up there. You've got tab to see stats, right? Yeah, fantastic game from RNG. Very little really went wrong for them. For RNG, for Ultra Prime. Ultra Prime, they were the one with the easy draft, sorry.
Easy to execute, yeah. And I think Zhang was a big part of it as well on that side. And it seemed like whenever he was in front, just face tanking everybody, they were able to do well. And another shout out to Saber in this game as well. I know Tangyuan won player of the game for game number 1. Wouldn't be surprised to see his lane opponent win it for game number 2. He was very strong on that rise at the end of that game. He was like
Junhao.
3 levels up over him. Oh, it's got to be Junhao. No, you're right.
Yeah.
If it wasn't
Junhao, it would be
yeah,
Saber.
yeah.
I do agree.
Yeah.
Saber was definitely pretty solidified in slot number 2 for the MVP vote. But hey, look, I'll be honest. Grapes, you've been here for a little while now. You've been covering the LPL, you know, 4 months.
Yeah, something like that.
You've seen some weird MVP votes, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Yeah. Right?
We saw that we had the moment where Doinby won 2 just a couple days ago, and so
yeah,
and
so
those did not seem
trust me,
super anticipated.
I wouldn't even. I'm telling you, Junhao will win because he had the most kills and the least deaths, I think, on Ultra Prime. I'll have to get that fact checked. I have a short memory, so you know, it's just is what it is. But yeah,
You know what?
Even if Saber could have done twice the damage that Junhao did.
But
Junhao
look
will
at
probably
cool
still get
Lee
MVP.
Sin kick. It was awesome.
Yeah, look at the cool Lee Sin kick number 3. Which, to be fair, there was about 3 excellent kicks that game.
Yes.
Actually, maybe it was
100%.
just 2. There was that kick in the final fight. He kicked, I want to say it was Sion into like 3 people. Or not Sion. Who was the frontliner on RNG? Well, they didn't really have one.
Yeah.
Either way, it was a 3-man
that was maybe
knockup.
the problem a little bit. Yeah.
That was maybe a part of the problem. Anyway, 3-man knockup. And then, of course, the Ezreal pick in the mid lane as well, off the back of the kind of Raptorish skirmish. Wow. Okay.
Maybe Saber
Didn't
wasn't
notice
that strong
Wako
there.
damage. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Wako. All right, buddy.
To be fair, it's the poke Varus build, so you're just
Yeah.
throwing out those Qs nonstop, but still respectable nonetheless. As this is a more normal gold graph that we have, maybe abnormal compared to what we have in the LPL. Is normally we're used to the very back and forth. This is a very one-sided game overall.
Yep. Clean snowball from start to finish. Very few bumps in the road. I mean, the closest was really just kind of the giving up the grubs, but even that, and maybe this, right? JiaQi solo kill on Wako. This little rivalry that seems to be brewing between these two AD carries. They're 1-for-1 in solo kills in their last 5 matches. I'm curious, will we get a decider on the best of 3 in opportunities to find solo kills? Yet to be seen.
Yeah, it's been very quiet early game so far. As we get a look at some of these highlight packages, this was a nice little, maybe not outplay, but weird play by Ultra Prime, as milkyway was able to survive for very long here on this engagement. You can already see from that moment, like Junhao consistently finding angles and being the aggressor here in these fights for Ultra Prime, and that's what we wanted to see.
Yeah, exactly. We just need this consistent engage, right? Give us a well, less consistent obviously, but give us a Leona. I don't know. Yeah, I might summon Trouble Link with this one, but give us a Vi, all right? Even if it's B1, and just let it fly. You know, just try and again keep things simple. This composition from RNG was just a little bit too over the place. Does, you know, have its merits, sure, but I mean, in comparison to how just ridiculously easy it is to pilot what Ultra Prime ended up putting together, it felt very, very night and day. And even with big elements like this, at this point, they were just being wallet diffed. Did not really matter at all.
There's that pick that you were talking about as well. On to JiaQi. That was nicely done by Junhao. And yeah, overall, RNG's comp, it felt like they got like good champions across the board. Like, I like JiaQi on Ezreal, I like Xiaoxu on the Ambessa, but it didn't really feel like it meshed together very well in terms of how they wanted to approach a 5v5. And you would get individual moments like this, but never the full team fight victory, as that was all controlled by UP here in this game, who now have a chance to bounce back and win this game number 3 in kind of that reverse sweep fashion, to pick up their first victory of this Group Nirvana stage, which again has tremendous implications over how the rest of the season will go for this team.
Yep, certainly would, right? And given how, as respectfully as I could say this, the rest of Group Nirvana looks, it's a big deal to win this series, right? You look at the other teams, you think, well, maybe some, well, I'm gonna say maybe some credence to EDG, depending on how you view their players individually. Their play together has maybe been not the best, right? As
there we go.
Hey, Junhao got MVP.
He deserved it this time. Yeah.
He did deserve it. I mean, I feel like if they won game 1, he probably would have got it. Like,
on the Junhao,
definitely
yeah.
strong, like, you know, strong submissions from game 1, I think, for Ultra Prime, but he would have been up there for sure. Definitely 100% deserving here, though. Fantastically Sin game, and we'll see if you can continue this performance moving into game 3.
Because, yeah, we are tied up now at 1 apiece between RNG and